Welcome to Fallout 76, this is Jim. In this video we're going to take a look at completing daily challenges for today, Monday, December the 9th, 2024. Let's take a look at and see what we got for today. Alright, we got some good ones here. I have many videos on my channel that will help you guys out to give you different ideas, different locations, easy areas, hard areas that were there if you're bringing a new player to the game. If you're a returning player, even if you're an experienced player, there's a particular daily, weekly challenge that's giving you a hard time or trouble. I'm sure you'll find a video on my channel that will help you. Try to keep my videos as updated as I possibly can. And of course, you guys are awesome with great comments and tips, which are greatly appreciated. Okay, let's take a look at this one here first. Mod a piece of armor 5. So since we've all been brand new players, we've all been picking up armor here and there off of killing enemies, armor just kind of laying around. And of course, we scrap it. When we scrap armor, we do have a pretty good chance to learn a mod. And even if that armor we don't use day to day, your character will always know that mod for that armor, right? So even if it's armor that you use day to day, or a piece of armor that you have in your stash box, you can definitely change the mod on it that way. However, for this particular daily challenge, I like to kind of suggest to people having a piece of armor that you know a paint for, because when you change the paint or a skin, all you're using is one oil. And if you're going default, it costs you nothing at all, all right? And that's what I highly suggest to people. And again, if it's a day-to-day armor you don't have a paint for, but even if you have a piece of armor in your stash box that you might have a paint for, it's well worth it just to get it done quick and easy, all right? Because just let's face it, we all don't have Fallout first. We don't have like endless amount of scrap junk at our fingertips. So sometimes, you know, when we're modding armor, we just use oil. If we know a skin for it, just be easier that way. Now, a good way to check is you can go to the atomic shop here. Once it loads in, of course. If you go down here to the skin section, it's very similar to the weapons, but down here in the armor, you can see all these different type of armor, even leather armor, metal armor, just real simple stuff, wood armor. And basically, I've gotten all these paints off of previous scoreboards. You can also buy them using tickets off the season passes if you so wish. But I've never really bought a paint before using atoms. All these paints here I've gotten for free off of previous scoreboards in the past, all right? So just an FYI, that is a good way to check to see what armor you have a paint for. It'll come up as owned, and that way there, even if it's armor that you might not even use, you can just have a piece, like a piece of leather armor in your stash box, and you can switch it up that way if you so wish. All right, let's go ahead. We're going to go to our armor workbench here. All right, we're going to go modify/repair. All right, so we're going to use the Secret Service left arm, for example. And again, we can switch up different type of mods, whatever we have on us. Again, it's going to cost us some valuable resources that we may not want to give up right now or might be short on. But let's go ahead down here to the paint section. And let's go no paint, so it's not going to cost us anything at all. Let's go ahead and do that. All right, see that 1 for 5. We'll go back to Raiderish paint. And even if you have just one paint, that's all you do. Just go back and forth, just like that. So really, we only use a couple oil there at the end of the day, just like that. And that's just a suggestion, if you don't have paints, again, I'm sure there's people out there who don't. You could just, switch it up with one of your mods and then switch it back to the mod of your choice. All right, what's next here? Craft or scrap a melee weapon 5. Okay, so just lately we got this season 19 update, and as we have discovered by now, most of us anyway, if you've been playing quite a bit since the update, that the weapon drop has greatly decreased, like a lot. And before, the update, it seemed like I would say 95% of the enemies that you kill would have some sort of weapon on them, like a melee weapon or a ranged weapon, what have you. But nowadays, it's totally changed. So we can find melee weapons in the game. Now, you can try to go after enemies that will give you melee weapons, and I highly suggest in around the forest area, right? So we do have these cultists here at Oregon Cave. We do have the Blood Eagles at Twin Pine Cabins, Hunter's Ridge. I find even some of the Scorched here in Morgantown Airport will also have some melee weapons on them, and even the odd super mutant down here in New Gad and even up here at the North Carnival lookout. All right, so that's something you can always do. You can always go after some enemies. You can grab their melee weapons and then scrap them if you so wish, 5 of them. However, for this particular daily challenge nowadays, I like to kind of suggest to people is you might as well just craft a couple and then scrap them. Let's go to our weapons workbench here. Let's go craft. All right, so we're going to go blunt melee weapons. So this board here, you learn this very early on in game. I know when I started my low-level character several months ago, he was able to craft this thing right out of the gate. All right, so it's pretty awesome. So 1 leather and 5 wood. So let's go ahead. We're going to craft 3 of these bad boys. 3 for 5, and then we're going to back out. Then we're going to scrap and scrap these boards just like that. Easy peasy. All right, what's next here? Consume an alcoholic beverage 5. So there's a couple things you can do here. You can find alcoholic beverages all around the wasteland. Again, it is totally random. Depends on server per server basis. Sometimes if you go to these same spots, sometimes they're just bottles that are there. And other times you go, they're filled with alcohol. So just to kind of keep an eye out for that. It's can be a little difficult going server for server, especially if you're on a server with other people because they're going after the same things that you are. Okay. Another thing you can do is you can craft your own alcoholic beverages. Of course, you have to do that at the brewing station. Let's take a look at that real quick. Now this bad boy right here, and then we have the fermenter, of course. Now there is a side quest called, oh, hi there. That's weird. There is a side quest called Wasted on Newgashine. And of course, I did that video a couple weeks ago. And of course, Mr.Prince, one of my members, joined me in that video. And of course, we came right here to Morgantown. We interacted with a poster here at Big Al's Tattoo Parlor. Starts that quest, Wasted on Newgashine. And at the end of that quest, we were able to get the plan for the brewing station and the fermenter. Now, I do want to make a note. What I discovered is back in the day, like when I've been playing this game since release, but back in the day, I got an actual plan that we had to read and learn. You know how you go to your item section, you go under notes, plan, then you read it kind of deal. But this particular, nowadays, this particular brewing station and fermenter that you get from Wasted on Newgashine, you automatically learn them now. It's not a plan that'll pop up in your inventory that you have to learn. You just automatically learn it. All right, so just an FYI if anyone's ever wondering. But you just go to your brewing station here. And as long as you have, you can craft some fermentable beer, boiling water, corn, 2 Razorgrain, and wood. And of course, you can go after that stuff. You can have some corn and Razorgrain right in your camp if you so wish. You can do it that way. Now, there are a couple of good spots that I find myself. We can find alcoholic beverages. Pretty decent spawn. Tato County Fairgrounds is a pretty decent spot. Camden Park's pretty decent spot as well. But one of the best spots is right here at the Wayward. So let's pop over the Wayward here and see what the Duchess has. Now, you can also buy alcoholic beverages. I know some of the odd ally, Camp Light Ally, will sell them, maybe 1 or 2. The odd traveling merchant will sell 1 or 2. The vendors, the robot vendors down here at the White Spring Mall. If you come down here to the north entrance and go right inside, it takes you right to the mall. You can go to this icon here too, but it's another loading screen to get to the mall section. But you could probably get, I would say, pretty close to 5 or 6 alcoholic beverages just from buying them using caps from the vendors down there. All right, let's go inside the Wayward here. All right, so here's Duchess here, and she's considered an NPC vendor. Let's go to food and drink, and she's got a wine on her. Good stuff. 9 caps, pretty cheap. But if you look at the table right behind us, look at this. So these ones here, these are just bottles, but these 3 here we can actually drink. All right, now these are 100% spawns. All right, let's drink these 3 here. And the same 3, the same setup is just upstairs here. Right here, the same setup in these spawners. So if you ever come here and you're on a public server and these are not here, that means somebody already came here before you and you're going to have the server hop or use one of those other methods that I mentioned. But again, these are spawns these are the only real 100% spawns that I know of in the game that are like very reliable. as compared to most of the other spots like the kill box and the other places there. They just kind of spawn. Sometimes they're just bottles. So again, you can just check out the Wayward here. Nice easy spot for everyone. You can always buy them at the end of the day. If you're having a tough time, just buy them from the robot vendors down at the White Spring Mall. That's always an option as well. All right, what's next here? Let's take a look here. Collect the lighter, cigarette, or cigar 5. So again, I have many great videos where you can find this stuff. I find ghouls will have a good amount of lighters on them. I'm not saying every ghoul, but some of them will be gold-plated lighters, all right? Every other one, so you can go after ghouls that way if you so wish. Cigarette and cigars, they're kind of randomly spawned. There's a pretty good spot right here in Flatwoods. There's a trailer with a satellite dish, and there's maybe about 3 or 4 flamingos out front. There's one red roach in the bathroom, and that is a good spot for single cigarettes. Now, I've taken you there several times on several occasions, and it's a really good spot. Now, I haven't had a chance to reset my game yet, so I just kind of popped in here real quick before starting the video, and they did not spawn in on the server for me, but just an FYI, you can check that out yourself. Now, the main video that I have is right here at good old Sugar Grove. Of course, there's a bunch of robots around now. If you make it all the way to the end, the very last room, all kinds of cigarette packs and cartons, great spot, as well as battered clipboards and pencils for lead. But the only thing is, at the very end, you have a 50% chance to get an Assaultron, you know, one of those crazy ones that go invisible, or you get a Lieutenant or Colonel Gutsy, all right? Hopefully you get the Gutsy, but sometimes the Assaultron will pop up, so just an FYI there. Another pretty decent spot for cigarettes and cigarette cartons is right down here in Camp Liberty. We have that big bonfire area with a bunch of little chairs and tables around it, and that is a pretty good spot there as well. And dispensing machines, medical dispensing machines right here, good old Wayward. There's one of these at every single train station. There's one at the Trading Post, one at the White Spring Mall. Let's go ahead and check it out. Pack of cigarettes, look at that, 16 caps each. Just like that. Just like that. Now, the main thing you gotta remember about these medical supply vending machines is that if you see how I just emptied it out, if we go to a train station, we go to the mall, there'll be none there either because all the inventories are tied together. Right, just an FYI there, but you see how easy that was, right? Alright, you can make it as easy as hard as you want, whatever you want to do. Play the game you want to play. What's next here, Jimmy? Harvest corn, Razorgrain, or Tato plant 12. Many great spots we can find this stuff. Of course, Aaronhold Homestead, Cobbleton Farm, bunch of corn on the hill, Silva Homestead, a bunch of Razorgrain at Billings Homestead. Right around the corner from Big Al's Tattoo Parlor under the overpass, we have that red barn. It's a nice little patch right behind the General Steakhouse, pretty good patch there. There's usually a bunch of unmarked farms along this little highway here. It's also part of a random encounter area, so just kind of keep an eye out for that. So we usually go to Silva Homestead, Billings Homestead, Cobbleton Farm. Let's actually go to the General Steakhouse here today, and we'll do something a little bit different here. Alright, so I know this isn't a harder area, but we can kind of get by these guys without even have to bother with them. We'll lock and load anyway. Now, there is a perk card that will help us out when you are harvesting flora. Of course, it's under perception. It's called Green Thumb. You do twice as much with harvesting flora, so instead of 1, you pick up 2. Alright? It's not going to really help us so much for this particular daily challenge, unless it's brain fungus, of course. And then what I mean by that is when you use the Green Thumb, you get 2 instead of 1. Now, most flora that we pick up, like corn, Razorgrain, glowing fungus, etc., when we pick up 2, we only get credit for 1 for the daily weekly challenge. Brain fungus is the only one that I know of, but when you pick up 2, you get credit for 2. Now, I don't know why that is, but it just is, right? But I always like to kind of mention that perk card is you don't have to have it equipped like I do. You can have it down in your back pocket and have something else in its place, but if you're a herbivore, it's definitely a must-have. Alright, so this place is full of super mutants, and we're going to try to sneak by these guys the best we can. Now, sometimes at the very end, right down there where those crops are, usually there's a couple of enemies down there as well. Sometimes it's mongrels, sometimes it's a couple of insects, so just be aware of that. Thought that was a fish there for a second. Weird. So the enemies that show up here at this little area here is kind of random. Try not to draw attention to the super mutants there. Alright. Nice. Alright, so as you can see, a nice little patch we have back there, and all we have to do is harvest it. Let's go ahead here. Some nice little Tato plants here. So as you can see, the top right hand corner, we're at 2 are being added, but we only get credit for 1. So you see how that works? Now if we were collecting brain fungus, when we get pick up 2, we would be getting credit for 2 for some reason. It's also a pretty good spot for these garden gnomes here. This little guy right here, he's having a good time. Yeah, real good spot for garden gnomes. If you're ever looking for garden gnomes, once in a while we will get the daily, weekly challenges. Are good for those guys. There we go. Harvest corn, Razorgrain, our Tato plant. So it's always kind of good, those of you who follow my channel, I like to kind of switch things up a little bit instead of just taking to the same spot every single time. Because, you know, sometimes we get on these servers with other people, we can go to those areas and be cleaned right out, right? So it's always good to kind of show it, not just talk about it. Alright, what's next here? Oops. Wrong button, Jimmy. Kill a Canine 3. Okay, so canines we can find all around the wasteland. There are many enemies that are considered canines, right? Right up here we have a bunch of mongrels at Aaronhold Homestead. 6 of them, I would say. If you're lucky enough to spawn in the event called Leader of the Pack right here at Tyler County Fairgrounds, 3 packs of wolves. And at the end of that, there'll be a wolf horde, usually up here at Aaronhold Homestead, so that is a good way to get canines as well. What else we got here? We have Big Fred's Barbecue Shack. There's about 4 foxes up here. Of course, we have about 6 wolves here at Autumn Acre Cabins. Pretty good spot. Even here in Flatwoods, if you spawn here at the Green Country Lodge, just a little bit ways up here going towards the wayward, there's usually 3 mongrels there as well, very reliably. Now, mutant hounds are also considered canines, alright? We can find a couple in around Grafton. There's at least 1 here in Grafton Dam, 6 to 12 in Grafton Steel, half a dozen or so here in Huntersville, all kinds of them inside and outside of West Tech Research, so many great ways you can complete this challenge. Now, of course, if you're traveling around the forest area enough on foot, you will come across, enemies here or there. We will come across random locations of foxes, alright? So just an FYI, you can always try that as well. So let's pop up here to Big Fred's Barbecue Shack. We'll go after these foxes here. Take the easy way out here for today. There we go, kill the Canine 3 for 3. Just like that. Wow. Wow. That never happens. Yeah. Okay, Jimmy. You just blew yourself up there, pally boy. That's amazing. That is... I don't think there's anything in here, is there? Yeah, not a whole lot. Okay. Wow. That's all I can say. Alright, what's next? Kill a mole miner 10. Many great spots we can find mole miners in and around the wasteland. Of course, we have good old Mononga, anywhere from 9 to, I would say, geez. Yeah, I would say 12 to 19 here in Mononga. At least 3 here in Mononga Mine. course, we have Blackwater Mine inside and out. This is probably one of the best spots for mole miners. Of course, right down here in the ash heap, we have these little locations. So you see these hornwright testing sites. We have a little event there called Breach and Clear. Now, that Breach and Clear will happen at these little other hornwright testing sites as well, all right? So kind of keep an eye out for them. But there's also a couple of maybe mole rats that will show up, but it's mostly mole miners that will show up for that. And of course, down here, good old Welsh, great spot for mole miners. And that's usually the place that we go. All right, so let's go to Blackwater Mine. We haven't been here for a little while, so let's pop over here today. We usually go to Monaghan and Welsh, so let's change it up. All right, let's go here. See, he's got a lighter on him. So we've been getting a lot, as I mentioned at the beginning of the video. So the weapon spawn rates have significantly, and I mean significantly, decreased. And we're getting a lot of junk now, all right? And that's one thing I've noticed. I noticed it's a good array of junk that we are getting. Like this flip lighter, for example. All right? And I've even noticed cigars and pack of cigarettes. So, you know, doing daily, weekly challenges, you know, it's can be definitely easy or hard, whatever you want to do. But it's always kind of good to keep an eye out for that stuff, right? Changes in the game all the time. Ouch. So power armor set there. I hear some heavy breathing. I don't know where he went though. Yeah, I don't know. Alright, let's head inside the mine here. Alright, let's go ahead. Let's lock and load here. Should be a couple of, okay, black wolves here. Right on. That's kind of neat. Now, that's not guaranteed. Because sometimes it's mole rats, alright? That's, but it's good to kind of note that, I guess. Now, these two mole miners here, these guys are always dead. Now, this is a hard spot. It can be difficult because the mole miners will kind of pop up out of the ground. They're just like that, see that guy? Another lighter. There's a comfy pillow in there. Go for a comfy pillow. See how they all come to work. Shoot him in the face. Nice. It definitely is a good amount, isn't it? right. That was fun. Alright, what's next here? Oh, we're done, just like that. Nice. Alright, let's head back to our Christmas camp, and we'll go over our weapon of the day. Alright, weapon of the day. And we didn't use the cold shoulder, we used this bad boy right here. Furious, Free States Suppressed Combat Shotgun. Plus 5% damage after each consecutive hit on the same target, up to plus 45%. Projectiles explode for plus 20% weapon damage. Plus 50%, plus 50 damage resist. Plus 50 damage resist while aiming. Plus 40% armor penetration. Take a look at the mods here. We have a hardened mod, a line long barrel, a line stock, perforating magazine, long scope, suppressor, and this awesome looking Free States paint, which comes up in the atomic shop once in a while, but I got this off a previous scoreboard. 22 times 8 damage, and of course it takes shotgun shells. Pretty awesome. Nice fun weapon to use. Of course, it being a shotgun. You have Master Shotgunner, Expert Shotgunner, all maxed out. Sturdy frame. You have Scatter Shot, Skeet Shooter, Concentrated Fire, Random Endurance cards, Tenderizer, Enforcer, White Knight, Adrenaline, Random Luck perk cards. And these are the legendary perk cards that I have, and had these guys for quite a while, and they're all maxed out. Pretty good. Alright, so again, tomorrow is Tuesday. We have a fresh new set of weeklies. We will have an Atomic Shop weekly update, so that'll be pretty cool. Let's see what we get. Hopefully we get some good items there. Hopefully we get some Christmassy items. I did end up buying that garland that was in the shop for 250 atoms. I put that right in the side of the house. Looks pretty cool. Love it. Totally love it. Might as well make it, you know, Christmas-themed camp there, right? Yeah. Huh. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please like, subscribe, and share when you get the chance. It really helps me out. I'd like to thank my channel members, Artistically Arranged, Michael Edwards, Nigel Wiffen, Heather, Whitetribe, Robco, Mr. Shelton, Drake Stamps, Mr.Prince, NotMeButMeYesMeThatsMe, G33K, Drew, Andrew, Demon, Confoundedbridge, Ghost, Primus, Corne van Niekerk. Hopefully I say that correctly. Hope you all have a nice day. Thank you.